That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
The bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to another free, fantastic episode.
Yep.
Of.
Thought you were going to say one more thing before episode. For
No.
Free.
I thought.
Fantastic.
Go on.
Fungible episode.
Is it? We're not an NFT show.
We are today.
Oh no! I thought we might be.
Oh, yes.
I'm really sad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's a shame, by the way.
Hi, guys.
And that is a shame because the thing is I was really glad that I'd resigned myself to not knowing anything about them and never ever knowing anymore.
Cool. Well, you're going to learn big.
Oh,
you're going to be one of the top knowledge boys on the.
I don't want to know what they are because it's drivel.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Who are you by?
I'm
by
Declan. You're Isaac.
Yes,
we all know. Look, let's just get this over and done with.
For a highly researched, highly lauded by me episode of the show.
You're always lauding the episodes you research, aren't you?
Actually, not always.
No?
I've gone back and some of them total shit.
Which ones?
No, I won't be naming names.
Quest.
3. Yeah. No, that's top tier. Whenever people send me tier lists of our episodes,
how often are they doing that?
191 of them, which I receive almost daily.
Do they do it using the
smash tiers?
The smash tiers,
yeah. Delta Quest S tier every time.
I don't
all
believe
the time.
it.
Yeah, weird. 3.5 very low, or 2.5, whatever it was.
3.5. The man in 208.
But yeah, I thought today's theme ought to branch out from, because the remit of That's a Shame is things that are a shame, right? That's very much encompassed by the title.
Yeah.
And there have been times, sure, where we've accidentally made episodes about killing Santa, and I suppose that's in a meta sense a shame.
Yeah,
because it's a shame that we failed to sort of stay true to the core principle of talking about stuff that's a shame.
We did get distracted somewhat by Christmas when we had started to talk about COVID.
Super easily done. They both begin with C.
But what I would say is, once we had been distracted, my God, did we stick to that path? And we really did.
It's absolutely important to me that we, even if we diverge into the yellow wood, we stay on whatever path we found.
No, exactly.
And I thought NFTs have been popping up a lot. I've got super into the idea of them, so much so that I've changed my Twitter profile to be all about them.
Yes, I've seen.
And the last time I did that was the Garden Bridge, and I'm still really into that. So NFTs for me, they're the Garden Bridge of 21, and you can take that to the digibank if you will. So I thought today what we could do is, and first of all, by the way, I've been on the phone to the lawyer, the TAS lawyer.
Oh yeah.
And he says we have to say at the start that we are not financial experts and none of this counts as advice or indeed as accurate.
Okay.
Even as fact. We're actually not allowed to use the word fact at any point now on. These are fun opinions. And this is legally edutainment. But we have to say the second bit much louder than the first.
Edutainment.
That's it, yeah. Emphasis on the tain. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to find out because they are very much in the zeitgeist, in the public consciousness.
They are, yeah.
And like most things to do with cryptocurrency, you either know everything about them or you know one thing about them. And I have been in the category of knowing one thing about them, which is just that they're so stupid, they sort of defy belief.
The one thing I know about them is that they destroy the environment.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about that, although not too much. There's also one thing I like to do when I'm teaching essay structure to students is I say you've got to make the prompt your own, right? Even at undergrad level, even at master's level, you've got to manipulate the form of the essay to suit your strengths.
Yeah.
And so you want to define your scope.
What were your strengths?
My strength is I can talk about anything for as long as you want, and it'll sound like I know what I mean, but actually if you dive one layer below the surface, there's nothing
We've got
there.
similar strengths.
Nothing there. But I want to just define some of the scope of this project.
Okay.
And for me, I wanted to find out really what they are in a kind of technical sense, but not too technical because I don't want to bore myself and you to tears. I wanted to find out some of the most egregious examples thereof. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to find out a little bit about some of the obvious pitfalls, but I didn't... the problem is, I know that the NFT world has an association with money laundering, but there's very little being written about it so far because this is something that people just keep mentioning. And like literally Friday, I guess, some financial task force in America published guidance about like specifically referencing the use of non-fungible tokens as a way of terrorists laundering money. and so it's like, that's kind of flying below the radar to some extent so far. So I'm unfortunately not able to find out a huge amount on that. So it's mostly focused on these questions. What are they? Why are they? How are they?
Why are people
Who are they?
into them?
And and really what's that all about? And why is it such a shame? Are you feeling ready?
Oh, as I
on the count of 3, hands in. NFT. Very cool.
I'm not saying, no, I didn't say.
What are NFTs? This is the background section.
That stands for non-fungible tokens,
Absolutely.
does it not?
And now we're not economists.
No.
You an economical kind of guy?
Not even at all.
I'm not
not personally, not professionally.
Economologist myself, but I understand fungibility as follows. Maybe I haven't looked this up, so let's just see what it is. My understanding is that something is fungible if and only if you can exchange it for the same thing. So like currency. Because if I had a pound coin and you had one, and I was like, take this one, and you're like, your one's shit. Then I feel like the currency wouldn't work too well.
Yeah.
I guess things like gold is fungible, because one bit of gold's worth the same as another bit of gold, right?
Depends.
But as long as they're of the same
quality.
Yes, or the same, because the quality of gold is about purity, right? So the gold itself retains that value, which is why I have
You've got loads of it underneath the bed.
It's going to fall through the floor. So the idea of something being non-fungible then, in a currency sense, is inherently interesting and seems odd.
Well, it does seem like it's largely pointless.
Now, please, that's a skeptical.
I've got the tinfoil hat on. Obviously, my job today is as devil's advocate.
Okay, that's because in real life you'd fucking love that.
So I would get out. I'm going to get it out there at the beginning. That it does. It feels pointless and bad.
Okay, well, I guess let's check in with that every few sections.
Yeah. Let's go for it. Yeah.
How that opinion evolves and how it changes and grows and develops.
Oh, definitely changing.
So the non-fungible token, as we've said, is technically it's a unique unit of data which is stored on the blockchain. Now, how's your blockchain knowledge?
Nothing.
It's one of those terms
Not
that everyone
a
knows.
thing.
I know a lot about the blockchain. I'm an expert.
Okay, good.
I'm a crypto billionaire.
Tell me what the blockchain is.
The blockchain is a kind of virtual public ledger of transactions.
Okay.
This is all true, I think. I could be wrong about some of this. Please tell me if I am. But my understanding is that it's a digital ledger, and the strength of the blockchain is its publicness and its decentralized state. So you don't have to trust anyone to be keeping track of transactions because it inherently cryptographically keeps track of itself.
Okay.
And once you store a transaction into the blockchain, you can't ever edit it because it would require going back to the original,
the very beginning,
which is Jesus God.
He was the first on the blockchain
to edit that because everything is like interlinked mathematically speaking.
And if you do any kind of transaction, is it inherently and immediately available on the blockchain, or do you have to put it on there?
The blockchain is a somewhat non-descriptive term because my understanding is that a blockchain can be created by consensus of some organization. So as I understand it, different cryptocurrencies participate on different blockchains, but you could set up blockchain like we could have blockchain for like who took the rubbish out most recently,
right? And
just store that information in a way that just shows how few times it's either of us and how many times it's our flatmate.
But what I mean is, like, I'm not responsible for remembering to mark it in the ledger.
No,
it will automatically, if I do a transaction, it will appear there.
Right, because that is part, again, to the limit of my understanding, part of the buying into a digital currency or transacting in like Bitcoin rather than Ethereum or Dogecoin is that the platform has its own set of like, when you make a transaction, that transaction is instantly recorded in a way that you can check and is hashed so that you can see, well, that's exactly the transaction I did. It leads to some interesting situations where like you'll have heard all the people who know that they have loads of Bitcoin because they can see it and had bought it like 15 years ago or whatever.
But can't get access to it.
Or people who, I didn't include this actually, but I was reading about someone whose NFTs were all stolen from their account and you know when like a real art theft happens and they're like, oh, okay, let's look into that. Like maybe the police might look into it. Well, the answer if your NFT gets stolen is Well, no.
Not yours. No one's interested.
The blockchain says it's not yours because the record of the transaction going out of your account, so you're fucked. Like there's no law that covers it as of yet because it's so new and cool.
And just to say, you can't also in the same way sort of fake things onto the blockchain.
No.
Like I couldn't, in your example, I couldn't just be popping on the ledger that I'd taken the rubbish out 3 or 4 times.
No, because it's not you, as we say, it's not you that's like actually doing it. It's a facet of the transaction itself that incurs it's just a consequence of it. Point on data. That's my understanding. It's probably relatively wrong, but it's right in the spirit.
It sounds right to me.
Now, I just want to read from directly the definition of an NFT in terms of its technical bit.
I was going to say, you'd have to do that bit again because you said blockchain and then you had to explain it and I forgot the sentence that it appeared in.
So an NFT we've established is not like currency. And the way it's not like currency, first of all, is that it's a file and it's created when you upload a file, and it can be any type of file to my knowledge. It can be a video. What other types of file do you like? Photo?
PDF.
Yes, I haven't seen any PDF NFTs yet. Probably because it's such a cumbersome 6-letter initialism to navigate with your tongue. But it can be, I've seen music, I've seen videos, I've seen a lot of drawings of feet.
Maybe we could call them PDFTs.
That could be quite nice, but I don't think it's going to catch on. Because they're purists in the NFT
Who
world.
do I email about it though?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Blockchain@hotmail.com.
Yeah. So you upload a file to an auction site. And the most famous one, or the most prominent one I can find, it's very annoying, it's called Nifty Gateway.
Dreadful.
Like NFT turning into Nifty.
Yep.
They're doing like the opposite of when companies take the vowels out and they're adding vowels.
They're putting their vowels in.
They're adding all sorts of letters.
That is new and exciting.
I guess that's disrupting the vowel space.
I'm putting that into the good column.
Nice, okay. How big is the good column so far?
Minimal.
Oh, okay,
minimal.
Weird.
Bad column, I've got a second page.
So when you upload this file, it creates a copy of it that's recorded on this blockchain, on this digital ledger as a hash. And this has even started happening with tweets, right? There's like a Twitter bot that you can tag and it will hash someone's tweet, or it will tokenize it, I think is the term.
That to me is the bit that I don't understand.
All it is
because
doing...
what I don't understand, I suppose, is more in a moral sense of
ownership.
If I did a thing, if I did a tweet, why Bob is able to nifty it into a token and then he owns it.
I don't think that the ownership would really do anything there so much. I mean, I haven't looked into this a huge amount, but my understanding is that just tokenizing something is like converting it into a form in which it could then be traded. And perhaps if someone then, for whatever reason, did manage to make money off your tweet, you'd be able to sue them for like your intellectual property being violated.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I was thinking that, the difficulty there is that fine, if they want to do that and create, the copy of it and tokenize it, I suppose. But then, if they start making a mint off it and they're like, well, cool. If you don't want to buy it from this lad, I've got a copy. Yeah.
This is a problem that's not just NFT specific.
No, of course.
Right? Like there's that really good essay that Emily Ratajkowski published last year about her sexual assault, but also about a nude photo of her that an artist, a photographer took the photo and then an artist made it look like a pretend Instagram post.
Right.
And then sold it and made loads of money and she didn't get any money from it, which I guess, there's legally, I think that is acceptable. But then she talked about how it was at the house of someone in some position of power who was kind of flaunting her naked form above their sofa or above their bed or something. And when she had a meeting at their house, it was just very weird. So I think that question of owning rights to your own things is an interesting one that this exemplifies or accentuates, but it's not unique to NFTs. But so you upload your file to, let's say, Nifty Gateway, and then there's a copy of it on the ledger, which can then be bought with cryptocurrency of your choice and then resold, and then it can just go on in perpetuity. Now it's tokenized, as we say. Although an artist can sell an NFT representing a work, the artist can still retain the copyright to the work and create more NFTs of the same work. Now this opens a real can of worms about why are you going to buy it?
Why are you going to buy the second copy?
And the answer, I've done an hour of research into this. The answer is there is no reason to buy them at all. Really,
even the first ones.
Circumstances. even the first ones,
Yeah.
The buyer of the NFT, and this is another key and bizarre point, does not gain exclusive access to the work, nor does the buyer gain possession of the original digital file. A person who uploads a certain work as an NFT does not have to prove that they are the original artist. And there have been numerous cases where art was used for NFTs without the creator's permission. So that's all good, right?
Oh, that's just
is that going in the good column?
That's the bad column. It's racking them up. The other thing here is that, like, am I to understand that the non-fungibility element is that they've exchanged cryptocurrency for the work, but then you can't exchange your work for another work because the value is like, it's impossible to kind of equivocate.
Which I think is true generally, right? That's a market thing. You can't swap
the Mona Lisa for,
But you could, but like there's no agreed upon market forces to determine the price of it relative to that. So I guess that's like, it is weird. It's another instance where like NFTs expose something that's already quite weird that we've just kind of accepted. And that's really the theme of what I found, is that like everything about NFTs seems just to be like the brightest lit version of how fucking weird selling art already is.
Yeah.
Like, and owning art and things.
Now, I don't want to jump the gun of perhaps a lead that you've buried to mix some phrases here, but what is the point of owning any of it at all, as opposed to just having cryptocurrency and also looking at a picture?
Yeah, it's a great question. I haven't buried this lead because I can't find an answer.
Oh, I see. That's good.
I read loads of Reddit comments about people who had been buying them, and some of the answers are fair enough. They want to like support an artist that they like.
Okay.
Although I would suggest there are probably better ways of doing so.
Yeah.
Although perhaps less profitable ways for the artist, as we will see.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it does seem to just come down to, and this is like a direct quote from a crypto analyst who's quoted in absolutely every article, quote, bragging rights.
Good.
So
Good.
It's just, and this is again,
because
like,
we already had a kind of economic system based a lot around that, and it was really flawless, good. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I thought that this was very stupid. And then once again, to return to the way in which it's exposing the stupidity elsewhere. Like, I've always thought this about buying a print of an artwork. Like, if I wanted to have the Mona Lisa in my house, I could have a copy that is equally high resolution to the copy in the Louvre. And like, you know who's not getting a penny of that? Old dead artist
Leo being looked over.
Pauper's grave. Which, yeah, I guess that's similar. What's good about owning the original? Nothing that good, I don't think. Like, I've bought things where they're a limited run of something that has then become unlimited, or which isn't like materially different to the non-limited version.
The Baba book.
Actually the Baba book, which is the book from the Babadook, which is one of my prized possessions, guys. Signed by Jennifer Kent. It's horrible pop-ups.
Very, very
and
good.
And if you rip it up, it comes back, which is really good.
That probably was worth purchasing, yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I think there's an artwork somewhere in this room that's like a print of, like a more expensive version of something that I could have just got that's like, I don't really understand the difference between a print and just a printed artwork.
Yeah.
They sound like they should be the same thing.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that they're not. There's like the original, which sells for $1 billion. Then you can get like limited edition prints, which sell for like 10% of that. And then you just buy like a photo of it. And I personally would be very happy just to have a photo of shit.
I suppose that like a distinction is that if you have like an emotional attachment to something, then it's worth having something that is certainly if it's physical, like the original, there's something that can be said for that. It doesn't necessarily seem to me that translates to owning a hash that represents
or a JPEG,
the thing,
like owning a copyable image. I guess it's because,
and then again, it makes even less sense to do so kind of as a form of monetary, like, storage.
It is strange. Yeah, I agree. So I wanted to talk about the history of NFTs a little bit, because this was something I didn't know at all. They've been around for a lot longer than I thought, because I've only really heard of them in the last 6 months or something. But the original idea comes from around, I think, 2012, when someone just posted a blog post that was like, what if we do this? And the this that they were then talking about.
That's a powerful type of blog post.
Yeah, it was an idea called coloured coins, which sounds like a kind of Mario thing. And in fact, it is a Mario thing. You have to collect red coins sometimes to get a key. And the idea was that you could colour which is a verb which here means nothing. It means nothing. Like I read a paper on this. It was 38 pages long. And there was a bit that described the details of what colouring was. And it was just do something to them to make them different, even if it's just saying that they're different.
Yeah.
You colour a quantity of bitcoins, the smallest denomination of which is called a Satoshi, named after the pseudonym of the person who made Bitcoin. I didn't realise this. No one knows who it was.
I did know that, yeah.
Satoshi Nakamoto. Very cool. Just a cool guy. Dude's rock. And you just sort of state that you're going to honour some obligation to whoever buys these coloured coins off you. Again, like they're not colourful. I can't stress that enough. They won't look nice.
They're not. No.
They won't be lighting up your room.
Are they physical? They're not physical.
They don't spin around like the cool pennies in Mario's world. They are just nothing.
Is it a coin or is it a digicoin?
It's a digicoin.
It is a digicoin. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because they don't have colour anyway.
No, I guess you could maybe attach
in MS Paint or something. Yeah.
But
then you could sell that as a non-fungible token.
I'm fucking gonna. And one of the proposed uses in this paper that I read was called
what they've invented is Reddit silver. Like that's pretty much what they've done.
And smart property is the idea that if you own some coloured coin or some amount of these coloured coins, that this would be like a digital and traceable and like authenticatable proof of ownership of. And the example they give is a car that could be made in a very draw the rest of the owl sense to only work if you have those coloured coins in your Bitcoin wallet. So like your car would check your Bitcoin wallet and it would
if it was purple instead of green
is coloured.
Yep.
And if it finds that, then it goes from. But otherwise it just sits there a big sort of paperweight on the road.
That sounds like a worse version of a car.
Yeah, it sounds like it would never happen.
Yeah.
Not only would never, but could
never.
And of the 7 use cases which this paper suggests, which also include like equally speculative things like let's just replace the whole system of like bonds and company stocks with coloured coins. Now keep in mind, keep those in mind for the quote that I'm going to read at the end of this section. The final suggestion is called decentralized digital representation of physical assets, which he describes as a, quote, hypothetical use case that is not proven to be viable, but is eagerly anticipated by some groups.
Good.
And that was basically like the theoretical groundwork for NFTs, as I understand it.
And we're going to replace the whole system with this, are we?
Yeah.
Good.
In one of the final chapters, entitled Demerits of Coloured Coins, Rosenfeld, which is the writer of this paper, identifies as the closing point the potential problem of, quote, legal concerns. It's such a little throwaway bit. It's really funny because it's like right at the end of a chapter. And
of course,
sure
there is the problem of it being totally illegal.
And being used to like NFT fucking beheading vids.
Not just being illegal, but also facilitating further illegality. But once those hurdles are cleared...
Which I'm sure they will be, like everything in the financial world. It's just a tick in a box.
Yeah.
Because they moderate themselves, those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
They're famously ethical. But I'm sure it's just a formatting thing. But it does, the way that the paper is laid out, like it's section 2.3 demerits of whatever, coloured coins. And then you scroll down that page and it finishes at point 2 or whatever. And then if you just scrolled again, you'd think it was a blank page, but actually it just says at the top, legal concerns. With coloured coins embedded in a host blockchain, any legal issue with the guest assets, such as uncertainty about security trade regulations, or, and this is a very problematic phrase, specific unsavory assets might project into the host blockchain. This issue deserves more exploration, but it's the author's belief that the inclusion of multiple entities within the same blockchain will only reinforce its position as defying traditional legal approaches. The idea of defying traditional legal approaches, very good.
That's a very poetic way of saying criminal.
Yeah, it's very aperture science.
When I went to the shop and I took a bunch of beers without paying for them, I was defying the regular legal expectations.
Very cool. Yeah, no. But I just love the like nod to specific unsavory assets. And let me tell you, like I said, a solid 40% of the most recently listed NFTs are just GIFs of feet, like drawn cartoon feet. So to me, that's unsavory.
That's not good.
Andrew Steinwald, who is a crypto investor, and I was just going to use the quote that I found because it's very funny, but I also then looked into him and he's launched a firm, which is like an investment firm called Svermion.
Stop.
which describes itself as a metaverse native investment firm.
It's all meaningless.
And the metaverse is defined. It's good when you create a investment firm that is in a field you have to also define with a name you cannot
that you made
allow.
up.
And the metaverse is just what he calls like esoteric crypto shit, like art and virtual worlds tokens, which is like I buy a sword for Second Life or something. I don't think that's a thing, but that's the idea. Anyway, he said, coloured coins exemplified a huge leap in Bitcoin's capabilities. However, their downside was they could only represent certain values if everyone agrees on their worth. And I thought, okay, well, I guess that's true of money as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we all were like £10 is nothing now, then that would fuck it up a bit, but not quite in the same way. Bitcoin's scripting language was never meant to enable this type of behavior within its network. Thus, coloured coins were only as powerful as their weakest participant. For example, 3 people agree that 100 coloured coins represent 100 company shares. But if even one participant decides they no longer equate coloured coins to represent those companies' shares, the entire system will fall apart. Which is just like...
I love that it's
there couldn't be a more fundamental
It's
problem.
not even a technical problem.
No,
it is just that any individual on Earth who gets involved can bring the whole thing down
worth $1 billion
on a whim.
It's very, very weird.
Can I do that? Can I just
fucking
do...
go
I might
for it.
do one.
Yeah, we're going to be big on NFTs.
I'm going to go in and say all of the coloured coins are mine now.
All your coloured coins are
And
belong to
they're
me.
each worth $1 billion. Thank you for
Very
asking.
good. $1 billion what, they'll ask.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. $1 billion funds.
You keep handing it over and I will
Funge
let
me,
you know
baby.
when we're done.
Now, I've got tired of going through in such minute detail, so I've just prepared a kind of annual timeline of Bitcoin, NFTs to the present day with the like highlight reel.
Yeah.
In 2017, a company that goes by the very, in my opinion, not an evil name of Axiom Zen launched something called CryptoKitties, which I'd never heard of. But it was
what was the name of the stuff that Snowden revealed? Fuck.
There is the like
can never
Five
remember.
Eyes. There's something that's basically Hydra.
It was
isn't there?
it was within the CIA. Prism, I think.
Oh yeah,
it's called,
Prism
is
with
it?
the logo.
With a
is like
logo,
the evilest
and you're
thing
just
you
like,
could imagine.
and you're just like, what? I think it's on one of the Charlie Brooker things. He's like, you do wonder why a secret code plan needs a logo, but here
If
we
you're
go.
going to have one,
You might as well go
as
the whole
dystopian as
log.
it is.
Yeah.
So CryptoKitties, which maybe we would like to get into because it sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah,
As in the
in
like
cats.
with. Oh, okay.
As in cats. Not as in the money.
I thought for a second, mate. No,
Foolish.
that would be too
Too fungible.
It would, oh God, I'd be exchanging it all over the gaff.
Careful. don't be fucking funging it.
Sorry, my coloured coins are fungible. I just thought I'd throw that in.
I'm not happy about that.
Yeah,
It's a blockchain.
sorry, and so are all of yours now.
It's a blockchain-based virtual game that allows players to adopt, raise, and sire virtual cats on a blockchain.
I hate the use of the word sire. Why does it make it sound like they themselves are doing the siring?
Digicats. The virtual... I'm just reading from Wikipedia at this point because it's so
Imagine
weird.
reinventing Nintendogs, but it costs money.
Not just money. The highest selling cat went for $117,000. The virtual cats are breedable. That's good to know.
Well, they're siring all over the
And
gaff.
they carry a unique number. Very cool.
Very good.
And 256-bit distinct genome with DNA and attributes. I know you just saw this bit. It says a 256-bit distinct genome with DNA and different attributes, brackets, cattributes. That's so good.
What I do enjoy is the way that this kind of not even very subtly sets up a way that we ourselves can soon become NFTs,
of course
because
we can.
my unique 256
Get your
attribute
genome on an NFT. If
Wow.
you did that, you'd make so much money as the first person to sequence their genome and sell it as an NFT.
and then they don't technically own me.
But they will clone you into an army of terrorists.
Well, that's fine.
That's on them.
It's not me. Yeah.
No, exactly. These attributes can be passed to offspring. Several traits can be passed down from the parents to the offspring, and there are a total of 12 attributes for any cat.
Can your cat? So sorry, if like if you get 2 of your cyber kitties to fuck,
Yeah.
and they make a sort of really shit cat,
Yeah.
have you lost money?
Well, I guess, do you think it would devalue the parents if they had a shit kid? When you see a family, if you saw two parents and
if
you're like,
you
what
have
an attractive
but
pair.
if you have like if we're talking about like in the real world, if you've got a bull and you're,
or if you've got Tom Hanks' weird son who does that Jamaican accent all the time, like that lowers Tom Hanks' prestige and value.
Yeah, but like if you've got a bull that you're, putting out to pasture to sire more cows, and it makes shit cows, its value goes down.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's like, I don't know how it works. It might be randomized cattributes to some extent. So it could be that they still have the innate potential to produce like the gig cat, the giga kitty, as it were, at a later date. I just don't know.
This is going in the bad column. I'm just.
Well, let me see if I can swing it back around.
Just because, it is important to draw a distinction here. Is it just that you don't know, or is it that there is also no
Science
answer?
is not ready yet to weigh in on attributes. Some of our greatest biologists have been digging deep. And
has the computer just given up?
No.
Oh, okay, that's good.
It had. It's back. We fixed it. It was actually fine. There are a total of 12 attributes, and I do think these are going to... Just get your pen ready over the good column. They're all going in.
Okay, here we go.
Pattern.
Bad.
Mouth shape.
Bad.
Fur.
That's
eye
good.
shape.
Bad.
Base colour. Accent
No.
colour.
Ooh.
Highlight colour. Eye colour. An optional wild environment. Prestige. And secret attributes.
Prestige is so bad that I've moved fur from the good into the bad column, making it a total 12 out of 12.
On March 20th, 2018, it was announced that CryptoKitties would be spun off into its own company. So Axiom Hydron, whatever they were called, Axiom Zen, said, you know what, CryptoKitties, you're ready to go it alone.
Oh.
And they've just raised, because obviously this is like, it's nothing, they're selling nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, they're drawings of cats. They're not very good. I'd like a drawing of a cat to be good, and then these are not very good.
You've done a good drawing of a cat.
Very
before,
good, yeah. I did one quite recently.
It was the Abigail's party as
and
well.
And my little devil that I made recently had
cat.
He had cat-like qualities.
Oh, okay.
That's fair to say. Cattributes.
Have you niftied it yet?
I better fucking had.
Get it out there.
Yeah, I think I shall. But it managed. I guess maybe some people just really liked them, and there was a lot of press that was like, "This is Beanie Babies now. This is the new Beanie Babies. We're all going to be putting
the
up."
The thing is, it's not the new Beanie Babies because it's
you can't
shit.
hug them.
Yeah.
It raised just $12 million.
It's amazing that Beanie Babies as well managed to be so successful without anything approaching a unique 256-bit genome, isn't it?
Fucking
it's almost
crazy.
like people weren't interested in that.
But yeah, the $12 million that they raised was very good.
Oh, good.
Later on, though, CryptoKitty... Oh, yeah, the best one, actually, I was wrong. One actually went for $140,000,
oh, good.
Which is good. And then this is a very weird bit. In May 2018, CryptoKitties launched their first celebrity-branded CryptoKitty with Stephen Curry, who is a basketball player.
Yeah.
As part of the partnership, Curry was given 3 CryptoKitties with special imagery. Now, I don't know if that gets you as hot under the collar as it does us crypto
going
investors.
in the good column, let me tell you.
But I fucking love some special imagery. The first of which he put up for auction. The company later suspended the auction, however, claiming that Stephen Curry was not as involved as they initially thought.
Oh, no.
The company was later sued for trade secret theft over the Stephen Curry collectibles, which I can't fathom.
Didn't they get him involved?
Did they steal? The court ruled in the company's favour, stating that, quote, the evidence demonstrates that defendant, not plaintiff, developed the idea to license digital collectibles using the likeness of celebrities first. So it sort of sounds like Stephen Curry thought he came up with digital.
I'm confused as to who was angry.
Everyone, actually. The whole community was up in arms. We added a new cattribute called Angometer.
So hang on. So the company decided that they were going to do special
They wanted
Stephen
to do
Curry.
some hot cats with Stephen.
So they gave him 3.
He wasn't as involved as they thought.
But who said that? Like, who kicked off?
No, he just wasn't.
Because it sounded like they got angry at themselves and then took themselves to court.
That's
and
NFTs,
the court ruled
baby.
In their favour, as indeed it had to, because whichever way it went.
Versus themselves. It's the battle of the century. In October 2018, CryptoKitties reached the milestone, and you remember we celebrated in this flat, of 1 million cats being bred. What a milestone.
Stop.
1 million cats sired.
You can't.
with a volume of 3.2 million transactions on its smart contracts. In November 2018, Dapper Labs, which was the company they spun out, raised...
Dapper Laughs?
Dapper Labs. She knows.
She knows.
Raised an additional $15 million in a venture round, and they doubled its valuation in this round. So it's now it's worth lots.
Okay.
And what's it worth that all for? Well, it's drawings of cats.
I'm going to start drawing cats, man.
You honestly should. Like, the takeaway from this is that
everyone should just be drawing shit and
NFT
NFTing it all day long.
Because if we do enough of them, then one of them will go for $1 billion.
And I don't care if anyone owns it.
No, they can have it.
Can I put up I can because it's any file, right?
Yeah.
So should I just start uploading all the lessons I plan to Nifty? See if anyone wants to buy my lesson on like Pythagoras in 3D.
What if you accidentally start a huge marketplace for this though, and then you just become like known as the maths NFT guy, and you have to build your whole personality around it?
That's fine because I'll do it by saying that they suck.
Negging the NFT is very cool. In 2018, it was a great year for the kind of NFT sphere. I'm sure you remember.
We're only at 2018.
And one of the cool things that happened was that trading cards became a big thing, as well as in-game items for games that I've never heard of, you've never heard of.
Good.
They sound bad, and they probably are bad. And it was in 2018, amongst what I recall to be a very pleasant political climate, that the rare Pepe market began to flourish.
Of course.
And this was the trading of Pepe the Frogs, the alt-right frog, created by someone who disavows the alt-rightness of it.
He's not. Yeah. He's not an alt-right frog.
Well, I don't know.
He's not an alt-right frog.
I see him as quite an alt-right guy.
See, you're part of the problem.
I think he's been co-opted to the point where it's meaningless to say that he's not, because he just represents alt-rightedness.
In the documentary, which is very good, there's a bit where, because he gets listed as an official hate symbol, and the guy goes to visit the organisation that
where he's in prison.
Designated.
They've got a drawing of him behind bars next to Hannibal Lecter.
And he's like, here's all the reasons why he's not, and lays out a very good case for taking him off of the list as actually doing more benefit than harm, and all the ways in which it had been rehabilitated. Okay. And the guy is just like, well, I don't really like the frog, so he stays on the list. I mean, it just has to go.
But yeah, they started making sometimes just memes and sometimes cards of these. And the highlight for that year was that in 2018, a guy called Peter Kell bought what I guess is by definition now the rarest Pepe, which is called Homer Pepe.
Yes.
$38,500.
He's in the doc.
Is he?
Yeah.
Just tell me about him. Cool guy.
He is a douchebag. He is exactly what you think he is.
Just have a look at the card, read the text on it as well.
It says Homer Pepe, and there's just Homer.
Green Homer in the clouds, but he's got red lipstick like a frog always does.
Heart unknown SPD equals immobilized ELE equals sort of, I don't know, emoji.
Yeah, it's too small to read.
And then it says, wait a minute.
Well, it actually says wait a mintu.
Oh, wait.
Wait a mintu.
Wait a mintu. I'm a Pepe.
And the rareness score is just the 1 out of 1. That's 100% rare.
What about the fact that Graham Linehan keeps referring to him as Peep the Frog?
Does it?
Yeah.
On purpose?
No, that's what he thinks it's called.
But it doesn't say that, Graham.
No, it doesn't.
Damn.
No. It's another area where he is lacking.
Now, keep that frog in mind. He's going to come back quite recently. 2019 is a quiet year for crypto. That's not true. The only thing I could be able to include here was that Nike took out a patent, Nike if you're American, for NFT sneakers. Personally,
what does that mean?
Chocolate teapot?
What does that mean?
NFT sneakers called Crypto Kicks.
What does it mean though?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. It's just Crypto Kicks on
what
NFT.
Is it?
Well, they're on the blockchain.
Do they exist? Can I wear them?
No. Well, you could wear them on your Avi.
So what the fuck are they?
They're just probably pictures, or they could, I suppose, be
But why do you need to patent that? Because it's just a drawing of a shoe.
Yeah, it's a great one.
You don't need to patent that because it's not that
patented.
What did they?
They patented the idea of them. But then, the thing that you would be getting as a consumer is the NFT sneaker.
So hang on a minute. But so does that mean now I cannot draw a shoe?
No. It means you couldn't set up Crypto Kicks. You couldn't set up Uncle Deck's Crypto Kicks, which would mean trousers, first of all. Right. But yeah, you couldn't make your own Crypto Kicks. You could come up with a different idea for them.
So is it a separate thing?
No, it's just an NFT brand.
What is it? Kicks. But that doesn't mean anything.
It's here's an idea. It's within the domain of soft drinks, you've got
Right.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola patented Coca-Cola, the drink. This is a bad example because they also own so many others. But imagine within the domain of NFT, they've patented the brand CryptoKicks. That's my understanding.
Right.
They've patented or they've taken copyright out on the idea of whatever the CryptoKick is with Nike's particular flavour.
So I could draw a shoe.
Yeah,
I could draw
don't be putting a tick on
I
it.
could draw a Nike shoe.
Possibly.
And I could upload that.
Possibly.
And I could sell it. I just can't call it a crypto kick.
I think that's all true. I'm not an intellectual property
Meaningless.
expert.
I'm going to call it crypto kick with an extra K on the
Or
end.
with an X. I thought it was pretty cool because they didn't do that. They just did kicks.
This is just the BoJack Horseman thing where Todd proves in court that Disneyland is spelt wrong on their original contract. It's just the stupidest thing.
So CryptoKicks, get that on the good column.
It's bad.
Bringing us forward in time, we're in kind of present day, last year to today. And the first big art sale I can find, because this is really where it's gone now, is artworks, particularly visual art. And the first big art sale I can find is from the Museum of Crypto Art, who purchased an NFT on our fave, Nifty Gateway. They're a sponsor of the show.
Yep.
Use the special link niftygateway.com/Declan's Crypto Kicks with an X. You get 10% off your next Pepe.
You're going to get me sued by now.
And someone purchased a piece of art called Picasso's Bull, which I don't know if it is just a Picasso artwork that this person's done a drawing of or just indeed snapped a photo of for $55,000. And that was by Trevor Jones. And then the thing that I think really kicked it off this year, or really sprung it into the spotlight, was our pal Grimes. Now, you love Grimes. I'm lukewarm on Grimes, which is to say that I really actually don't like Grimes at all.
Why do I love Grimes?
I thought you were just a big fan of Grimes.
I like some of her songs.
There you go. But I think you also say you respect her as a kind of artist and as Elon Musk affiliate.
No.
I think you've said that on the show a few times.
I haven't.
Oh, okay. I must be misremembering. But yeah, Grimes, famously the mother of Xash A12, whatever he was called, sold a series of 10 pieces on the Nifty
Gateway.
On the
No
fucking
way.
Nifty Gateway. And I just thought I would read how they described the auction. Grimes, a multi-hyphenate artist, very annoying thing to say, is well known for her music and visual language. She's taken form as a simulation combining gamer fantasy, anime, and what they would pronounce as manga. I would say manga, but I'm ignorant. Science fiction, apocalyptic omens, and anachronistic fashion, among other genres. That's got big word count energy.
I'm gonna kill myself on air like the guy from Network.
Her most recent series of artwork, War Nymph, capital W, capital N, one word, is realised with her collaborator, Mac Boucher, perhaps, who is also her brother, I believe. War Nymph, you're wondering what it is, right? Ask me.
Oh, God. What is it?
But, sir, what is War Nymph? Ask me, in a cool way.
Sir, what's War Nymph?
War Nymph? Great question, young man. You want to buy?
Oh, no, I just am interested.
Give us your money first and I'll fund you big time. War Nymph is the goddess of neogenesis. She battles the destructive force of obsolete ideas and systemic decay that threatens the future.
She's nothing.
She embodies the power of perpetual regeneration.
She's going in the bad column.
That manifests in a state of infinite infancy, where she sheds her old skin of corruption. That paragraph is beautifully
Now, the
meaningless.
important thing is, does she wear crypto kicks?
Well, hold on. No, she doesn't. The first of her kind, War Nymph is a digital entity spliced from a pixel DNA of the organic human Grimes. The organic human Grimes is a very Twitter bio energy.
Really troubling.
Merging the raw images of a photogrammetry scan, sure, enunciating her iconic tattoos. Imagine describing a photo as enunciating something. What a fucking cunt way of phrasing
this
that.
Whole paragraph
With
has made me so
a
sad.
retopologized mesh that was sculpted, modelled and morphed into a variety of forms before being permanently sealed into the body of a baby angel, a cherub. She exists in the liminal state of the virtual world, a Grimes narrative universe within an alternate history of mythology and the infinite fragments of the future.
Did Ernest Klein?
He was jacking off on this.
Yeah.
She's a pioneer in the rapidly expanding metaverse that we heard about from Sphinx.
Oh, thank God. Sverm.
Grimes, with the Warnymph project, explores the fluidity of identity in the virtual age.
She doesn't.
The ability to create, augment, and splinter ourselves into unlimited avatars.
She's not done that.
I.e. photos. Create boundless worlds, i.e. photos of worlds.
Photos of tattoos.
And build rich, complex lore. No.
In
this first limited edition NFT release, which portends more to come, in case you missed out on this one.
That to me is unlimited, because you have specifically said that it is not limited.
Warnymph is presented in her earliest visual form and will continue to evolve as part of a broader Otherkin universe.
Don't care.
And the ears are 3, so that's what we call it.
I don't care. So this doesn't mean anything.
The way this works,
this manages to mean less than all the meaningless things that came before.
It makes cyber felines look like
I'm
fucking
investing as we speak.
Like
I'm on my phone.
Oil barrels. There are petrodollar, these cyber kitties. So the way this actually operated was...
Just to be clear, what she did was she did a drawing.
No.
Okay, sorry.
Come on, a drawing. A video.
Oh, okay, so sorry. So she did a video.
No. Come on, 10 videos.
So she did 10 videos and she sold them.
There were 2 pieces.
In the most pointless way she could.
Yeah, there were two pieces. We use the word pieces in the artosphere.
I didn't like the phrase series of artwork. That really did. What's the phrase?
I don't know.
I've
jack off your mind.
No,
box.
I was getting it's. I was going to say grind me up the wrong way, because I was
grind your gears.
Grind my gears and rub me up the wrong way.
Clunk your cogs, as well as
don't say that.
Gum up your.
No, you're doing that thing you do. You're getting too excited. You need to calm down.
I was just feeling the flow. I'm going to NFT
like an animal, so that you sit down.
So the way that this auction operated, where there were 2 pieces which were like multi copies were available, limited. There were only 9,999 of them available. They didn't actually.
That's not that many, is it?
And they were short animations of a cherub, which I think we've learnt was the photo.
We don't need to go over it. We do not need to go over it. We already had to.
And the cherub had a weapon, so that's quite cool. And there is a planet in the background, and they were for $7,500 each. And then there was also...
I can't imagine she sold many of them.
No. There are a couple of one-of-a-kind pieces, including one which was the highest-selling piece, or it sold for the highest amount, called Death of the Old, which involved more flying cherubs, because I guess they modelled them the one time. They were like, let's chuck them in again.
Yeah, copy-paste.
There was a cross in this one, so that's cool.
So it's religious.
A sword and glowing light, and it was set to an original song by Grimes. That one was... about $389,000 that one went for. In total, this Otherkin universe Warnymph artwork shit made $6 million. Which is like really quite staggering.
Every single one of those dollars is going in the bad column.
Yeah, I think so. I found
our pal on YouTube, what's his name, Faulkner, who makes all those religious animations.
They super look like those.
He needs to get on it.
I think his art is so much more valuable than anything that I've seen on Nifty Gateway so far.
She hasn't got the big snake that eats you for not going to church.
No, that's true. One big snake that she does have, and this is a side note, this is a little tangent, because I didn't know this, but I was reading about Grimes and I was trying to look up, like, I don't really know much about her, but everything I know predisposes me to loathe her.
Yeah.
Mostly by virtue of loathing, the kind of Elon sphere that she participates in, which I guess is potentially unfair. But she has, it seems, chosen to associate herself quite deeply with the brand. In 2015, she created this is how they met, by the way. So in 2015, she created a character named Rococo Basilisk. And this is a joke. Now, the joke is based on 2 things. The art type, Rococo style, and then something that's called Rocco's Basilisk, which, have you heard of it? It's an internet thing.
No.
It was a thing on a forum. I don't really remember it that well, but it was basically, it boils down to the very simple, it's like a thought experiment that someone posted on a forum that was like a kind of futuristic Pascal's wager for the modern age. And they were like, assuming that AI will one day exist, and assuming that if it goes on for long enough, then it will one day like dominate and conquer, then an AI would be incentivized to retroactively punish everyone who didn't help to bring the AI about earlier. And so they were like, based on that, as soon as you know that an AI could exist, you have to work towards
doing everything
creating it,
you can,
or you're going to be fucked over.
Yeah.
Now, it's a very simple idea. It's not very complicated, right? Like, You can explain it in a forum post, and in fact, that's the only place it has been explained.
Yep.
People took it really seriously, and there were like big articles about like this development in philosophy, and it was peak like bad philosophy, which is a great subreddit shit. And so she created, based on the merging of those concepts, a character called Rococo Basilisk for a video of her song Flesh Without Blood. And in an interview with Fuse, she said, "I don't know if you've heard of Rocco's Basilisk. This character is doomed to be eternally tortured by an AI, but she's also kind of like Marie Antoinette." It's a bit of a non sequitur.
Sure.
Elon, this is just such a fucking great sentence to describe a normal thing that humans do. Elon was researching the idea of joking about Rococo Basilisk.
Why?
Which is such a fucking...
Rococo or Rocco's Basilisk?
Rococo Basilisk.
So hang on. So he was researching the idea of joking about her character.
No.
Oh,
He'd
okay.
separately thought of this joke.
So he was looking to see if anyone else had done the joke.
When he saw Grimes had already joked about it, he reached out to her. Grimes said this was the first time in 3 years that anyone understood the joke.
Fuck off.
They were both poking fun at AI. It's honestly like the biggest, and then everybody clapped.
They deserve
and that,
to burn.
That basilisk was Albert Einstein energy. It's not a complicated joke. If you've heard of Rococo and you've been on the internet and seen that, it's not good. And the fact that they've based their whole relationship on it is a good sign.
It's so
I'm sure.
contrived.
Yeah, it's very, very shit backstory. Last few things to think about before we finish up. We've got a category I've just titled More Shit. And this is just like a highlights reel of the latest developments and big selling nufts, which I just realised we should call them maybe nufts.
No, let's not.
I think that's good to call them nufts.
There's no point changing 50 minutes in.
On March 2nd of this year, the Homer Pepe you remember from earlier, Peter Cal sold it again for 205 ETH, Ether or Ethereum coins, which is, any guesses what that might be?
$200,000.
$321,440. And he posted on Instagram, "This is an absolutely insane event in the Nuft world. I've definitely learned the value of digital art. More proof that Nufts are the real deal and will be a big part of how art is sold in the future." Which I feel if I just made 300 grand, I'd be quite motivated to say that I'd learned the value of digital art as well. It's really a very true.
Wow, yeah, it's the value of digital art fell into my digital pocket.
$320,000. Now, there's something called a CryptoPunk, which I had not heard of, but I'm going to flash you an image of a CryptoPunk, and I just want you to just detail it for the guys, for the gang, for the listeners.
It looks like if you tried to draw a human version of Squidward with 10 pixels, and also he's wearing a hat.
And it's very good, you'd say.
It's the worst. I've made a new column.
How much would you say it was worth? Just out of interest.
Well, hang on. To me, or really?
Yeah.
To me, it's worth closing the laptop and just
it's worth
scrapping the episode. But I'm sure in the real world, it's worth 2 billion coins.
No. Give a real guess. How much money do you think that particular
one is worth?
It was CryptoPunk.
$460,000.
$762,000. That JPEG of a little guy went for. Honestly, Declan's not overstating.
For what reason?
For no reason.
Right.
Well, for the reason that it's just is it good because is it exposing that currency nothing really relates?
This is just
to the actual value.
This is just an updated version of that iPhone app you could have that did nothing, but it cost you £100,000 to buy or something stupid.
In February of this year, one user spent nearly $900,000 in less than 2 hours to purchase 19 CryptoPunk NFTs. But luckily, you're probably wondering, did they get Punk 2484, one of the rare 88 zombie punks? They did. And that was the most expensive one. That was $311,000. But
do we have a picture of that?
It's one of these. These are the 19. I reckon it's probably that one because it's got green zombies.
Right, I see. So,
but that's $900,000 worth of pixel guy.
I'm furious at the next sentence. Can I just say it already?
Yeah,
the Nyan Cat
sold for
$600,000.
They did remaster the GIF, which is
good. Well, sorry, I take it all back.
Because the original was it wasn't very mastered.
No. That was probably only worth about $400,000.
A producer called 3LAU has made more than $11 million on selling music and various stuff.
I hope he gets run over.
NFTs. And CryptoPunk 3100, which is the most expensive CryptoPunk yet. Remember that last one where he had a purple hat on?
Yeah.
Can I interest you in this guy?
Oh, he's got
kind of
no hat,
sweatband.
but he's got a sweatband.
And that one, how much are we thinking?
Oh, so the last one was 700 odd thousand, was it?
762,000.
And this one's the most expensive?
Yes.
1.2 million.
$7.5 million. Dollars.
Oh.
Yeah. CryptoPunk 3100 though, like he's a good one. You'd want to have that one. In fact, you can have that one.
I'm annoyed that you have been researching this instead of just making 500 of these and uploading them.
Some drawings of Batman here. Let me just zoom in on those for you. Just describe those. They're quite good, aren't they?
Oh, one of them is generic cartoon, and the other one looks like bad A-level painting.
They're quite good though, right?
They're worth probably £10.
$608,000, maybe. Not for like the actual printed out artwork, just for the JPEG.
Just to look at it.
Or maybe the PNG.
Did you have to pay that to copy and paste it into your doc?
No, weirdly I didn't actually.
So, but like that's because you've got a secret kind of code.
Yeah, I had to back enough.
It couldn't be that anyone could just copy and paste it.
Probably couldn't, because that would seem to make the idea of ownership quite
really
pointless.
Make it very pointless.
Charming.
I could print it out and I could put it on a car and I could just park it outside the guy who owns its house and say, "Hello, what are you going to do?"
Charmin, Charmin.
Yeah.
They've released toilet paper themed NFTs, which they call, any guesses? NFTPs. Very cool. They go for about $2,100, and they're just sort of pictures of the bear. The world's first NFT digital house sold for $500,000, and Christie's sold this is the biggest one I can find so far. They sold an artwork called The First 5,000 Days by a digital artist known as Beeple. Not one I'm familiar with, but I'm not big in the visual art world.
Yes, I heard about this.
And it was the first time that a purely NFT artwork was offered by a major auction house, because Christie's is like, they sell real shit.
Yeah.
Any guesses on?
It was something like, is it like 68 million?
It was very like that. It was 69 million.
There we go.
You want to
get, well, that's the weed number as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That is the weed number.
Yes.
So that's all pretty
I was
good.
reading something about that because there was a guy who was doing a thread the other day about the big problem with Nifty.
Oh, yeah.
Being that, like, if it goes down, like, then it all means nothing. It all manages to mean less than it does.
And if it stays up, it all means nothing.
Yeah. But like they were saying, someone in the comments was saying that it's almost like a genius plan by them to have it all be so frail.
Yeah.
Because it means that people like the guy who's bought the Beeple artwork are effectively strong-armed into keeping the company going.
Yeah.
Because
it's like pyramid scheme, sort of allegedly.
If it goes down, then their Beeple artwork means even less than it currently does.
Which is a nice metaphor for, like, you know, the financial markets.
Too big to fail.
Financial markets that are so decoupled from the inherent value of anything, I guess.
Yeah.
It seems to me that if everyone was just like, actually, none of this is worth anything.
It's like it's like what you said at the start. It's like they've tried specifically to make it as meaningless as possible.
It's like a performance art piece about how capitalism has lost its mind.
If like Mamet wrote this as a play, it would be sort of laughed at. Yeah.
I didn't include this, but a philosopher, like an academic, did a kind of sort of performance art thing on Nifty, which I think has since been taken down, where he was selling NFTs of philosophical concepts. And so he had ones of like the type token distinction, and it was like long descriptions of like, well, if you own this, you like technically just do own everything, because it encompasses. He had like one that was the set of all non-fungible tokens, and then he had another one that you had to buy with it, which is the set of all NFTs, including the NFT, which is the set of them. Yeah. Which is just a very good idea, but they were sadly, I think, taken down.
Oh, that's weird. Not for any kind of ideological reason.
No,
because
I guess they weren't good. They weren't good JPEGs, unlike the crypto.
Yeah, they weren't like that dude with a headband.
One discussion point which I was thinking of and haven't interrogated much, maybe you'll have some thoughts on, while I was looking at the crypto punks in particular, because they are, in every sense of the word, shit.
They are
like I quite like pixel art sometimes. I think it can be quite cool.
That we've played like countless indie games that have just better sprites.
Absolutely.
That you got for free.
And they don't, the CryptoPunks, they just don't look like anyone's tried. But so I was thinking that, and then I thought, well, hang on. I often defend the principles of modern abstract art against people who are like, oh, well, anyone could have done that. Like Tracy Emin, she just didn't make her bed, left some shit around. Anyone could have done that. And the idea that, you know, is a common response is like, well, yeah, anyone could have done, but she happened to do that.
Yeah.
So like if someone wants to ascribe it emotional or moral or artistic value in any form, or indeed financial value, that's their prerogative. And I think, I wonder if I'm being hypocritical then in saying that because these CryptoPunks are so shit, and not just the CryptoPunks, let me make it clear that nothing that I've seen that's been transmitted as an NFT apart from the philosophy ones have been worth anything in any sense.
Yeah.
At all. Like categorically nothing.
Nothing.
But is that hypocrisy then? Because is it not just the same argument that people were making about like white cat on a snowy day?
I don't think so, because I think that whilst there is obviously an issue surrounding art and markets and especially kind of like the art, the world of kind of art sale, and the way in which, specifically a lot of modern art is bought and sold for, in the same way, these kind of bragging rights.
And to further proliferate the sale of art.
And I'm sure that there are plenty of modern artists who are doing that, but also it is kind of a genuine evolution of art that people have created and responded
CryptoPunks,
to quite genuinely, in an emotional state, rather than it being kind of like a little cottage industry of people who have just made these for the purpose of being sold.
Yeah.
And people are buying them for the purpose of buying them. And
it does seem to have removed
that there is
one layer of
and it's a really important layer whereby the art had any kind of meaning. And again, I think the idea of the original being an even more meaningless concept in this regard, because
when the original is like an infinitely dispersible, inherently reproducible.
Like if you want to, you can have a picture of one of those big Rothkos, but like there is one somewhere that is the one, and it is distinct from pictures of it,
and it takes up kind of physical space. You could lick it. You can't lick a CryptoPunk.
This is the kind of, it's next stage of simulacra, right?
It does
where this is just simulation. It isn't art. It is something that's kind of pretending to be art. It isn't money. It's something that's sort of pretending to be money. And it has like an even frailer relationship to anything that you could consider to be, scare quotes, real. And I suppose that really does stem from the non-fungibility element, which to this day, to this minute of the pod, remains to me the most mystifying part of it all. Not the concept of it not being able to be sort of exchanged, but the reason why everyone has decided that's good.
Well, I guess it could be a kind of moral thing about like, well, art has a value that you can put a dollar sign on, but you can't trade. Like it has to be the market that decides the value to these people. So you can't, like we said, swapping. How could you assess the trade of the CryptoPunk with the purple hat for the CryptoPunk of the blue and white without a mediating currency to describe our thoughts about how much the value actually was?
Right, but how can you do that with the like initial concept of how can you ascribe the dollar value to it anyway?
It's the invisible hand of the market.
Right, exactly.
Adam Smith
the invisible hand of the market, but the market here is even less meaningful than it manages to be already.
It does in that respect again tie into
because it's like
performance
it's just
art aspect.
Because it is just it's like it's almost reverse engineered, right? It's like a completely contrived marketplace whereby the actual product, again in scare quotes, you're not getting anything.
Yeah,
like you get
a record that says, "But I own this."
But that doesn't mean anything because you don't.
Doesn't mean anything. It's almost like a critique of capitalism. Like it is almost like a psyop where someone set this up to expose the fact that like owning an image is a totally meaningless concept.
Yeah,
like you simply don't, because lots of the NFTs are the image that is advertising the NFT. So you can go on Nifty Gateway and just right click or write a bot in Python that just scrapes all of the images, and you, for all intents and purposes, own in every meaningful way
exactly the same amount,
the same thing they paid for.
Yeah, and that is it. Like there is no. But what I find I think the most fascinating is that even in like the T's and C's, it says you don't. Like, it's not like, the rules say you actually own it, but in practice,
they're not pretending.
But in practice, you can't.
Yeah.
The rules literally say you don't own it. It could be sold again. It could be reproduced.
Could just be stolen.
Anyone could copy and paste it without you doing anything about it. So you don't have anything.
Yeah.
And more importantly, almost no one on earth knows or even could know that you own it. So it's not
even very easy to check. That's like another thing. Like, what's the end point of this? Like, digital art galleries presumably is an idea that could work. That could be quite cool. Or like a real world gallery of digital art that's being like exhibited on loan, whatever the fuck that would mean in this context, from the owners, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like, sure, but how would you otherwise come across or prove the ownership? You'd have to show someone essentially a string of cryptographic information and say, that's me. Or you'd have to like log in. Like, if I wanted to be like, oh yeah, I own CryptoPunk 732. And you're like, really? That sounds sick. How
That's
much
amazing.
You pay? Cool, 3 mil. And you're like, oh, can I see it? And I'm like, well, I'll Google it for you. Like, no, can I see your one? It's like, well, yeah, I'll log in.
This is it.
Unless I log into the fucking site and show you my account and show you like it in my fucking profile. Like, in what I can't get my head around is what ownership feels like in this context. Like, what is the qualitative experience of spending $70 million thereabouts on one image that anyone can infinitely
in every
reproduce?
Single article about it has a copy of it.
Yeah. Like what does that feel like?
This man bought this image for this much. Here it is. Like, we've got it. We've got it just as much as he has.
And outside of the very few instances in which I can imagine people are genuinely like trying to support an artist they care about in a new and weird way, outside of those, which is clearly not the case when people are paying $6 million to Grimes for fucking shit.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it. Outside of that, like, my theory is that there simply cannot be a qualitative experience of, oh, this is what it feels like to own it. In which case, the whole system is just a house of cards of people nebulously chucking infinite money at an idea on the sole basis that it's going to increase in value and I can sell it back in a week. Or I can like hold on to it and it will establish a portfolio that I can then like sell to another nifty investor in a year.
It's also really interesting that kind of more than any other market, it much like the coloured coins, right? And how that was built on this very unfortunate premise of, if one person decides that it's meaningless, it all becomes meaningless. That it feels like we're just waiting for enough of a percentage of the people to realize themselves what you've just said, that there is no qualitative experience of owning it and it doesn't mean anything, that then the entire thing just crumbles. And in that way, I suppose it's the ultimate test of cognitive dissonance, right? I've bought it, and so therefore it must be good because otherwise I was a fool for buying it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just constantly a constant cycle of self-delusion that if it at any moment falters, the whole fucking lot is fucked.
And that is also therefore, like, by analogy, true of just financial shit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right?
I mean, but it's really, it's incredible to think that, you know, the stock market crash in like 2008 is largely driven by this idea of people were selling things that turned out to be worthless. And it created this huge bubble whereby as soon as it became apparent how worthless it was, everything crumbled. And instead of learning a lesson from it,
instead of the Fed investing in crypto kitties, they sort of quantitative eased a bunch of cyberpunks,
a bunch of crypto
punks.
But that instead, what has happened is they've taken the worst aspects of that and turned it into its own system.
Yeah, it is like dystopian level
at the very least. You know, the concept of property, right? A housing market has somewhere along the line,
tangible relation to need.
actual, not only need, but there are bricks and mortar that are there that at the very least you could sell for parts. Not much, but there is something there that you can't just. I can't also like right click on the house and be like, oh, I also own the house. Like I've got the house in just the same way that you have the house. I can't like just wander in and out and be like, hey guys, like I live here too. But so at least that was originally had some kind of worth that then via an awful lot of corruption had the worth taken out of it. But then here, there was never even an attempt
to
give
Emperor's New Clothes
sort
of vibe,
hugely.
The house thing is a funny example because the person who made the digital house, which sold for $500,000, posted, like, I don't think she had participated in Nifty's before from this article, or at least the way it was written. And she was just like, I just made it in Unreal Engine. Like, I'm a digital artist, and I just sort of speculatively put it up, and someone just paid this much for it. Like, the bidding just went madder and madder. But, like, it's literally just something that, it's not to detract from her particular artistic flair, but it's not like, it's just a kind of game-looking house. It's just a game house, and it is nothing in that regard, and it means nothing. I suppose you could probably, if you were far more optimistic than either of us are, make the case that perhaps this will like awaken people to how meaningless the idea of like property rights are in lots of respects, and how especially meaningless the idea of a financial system which is so far removed from actually meaning anything that affects the real world and is mostly just AI trading with itself for the benefit of its masters. Yeah,
where value is determined by what people reckon the value could be. Yeah. Not even mostly. No, and not even based on what it is, but just how it sounds.
But like you can envisage a world where people will be like, well, hang on, if people are paying 70 million for nothing, then you know, does any of this mean? But that won't happen. Let me just stop.
Well, it won't, and it can't, because it's too stupid and fringe for 99% of people not even to understand, but just to care about.
Yeah,
like you can't. If we, you know, I don't know anything about it. I am online chronically.
Yeah.
And I don't know a thing about
probably,
it. Yeah. Well, now I will. Yeah. Now I know. I know how good it is.
Get the Patreon on.
Now I've got the good column filled up to the max. And I don't know what it is, and don't care, and still don't. I care less now. Why, like, no one's going to have their great awakening.
I love the idea of the person that spent 69 million on that NFT, who, like, having misunderstood it and thinking that they're now just going around emailing everyone who used the picture.
Sorry, guys.
I think you're fine.
I own this one.
You owe me $4,000.
I like to think of them more as like at the end of The Graduate, that they've sort of like got it up on the screen and they're smiling and it just sort of slowly fades down.
So the final point, which is something you brought up before, is the environmental, which is just another aspect in which this is a shit idea and is terrible and you ought not support it and you ought to do everything in your power to fuck it over, really. Even if that means, and it probably does, flood the market with so much
Even
shit.
If it means Rococo's basilisk is going to come back and eat the fuck out of you.
Not? But as we know, the whole like concept of crypto is that it's based on computers expending meaningless work.
Yeah.
Right? Meaningless
in every
energy.
sense. Yeah.
And so Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the cryptocurrencies already have like massive environmental impacts.
But bigger than a lot of countries.
Yeah, Ethereum, which is, I don't think the biggest one, has a total like environmental footprint the size of bigger than the entire country of Libya, I read, which is like very cool. But the annual energy use of NFTs so far is apparently on par with Ireland, which is very good. Now, lots of people have been doing... I've seen a few people face backlash when they like hop aboard the NFT train and like post an auction and be like, actually, I'm gonna go and learn thoughts and prayers, gonna listen and learn about the environmental impacts before I consider this exciting new avenue in future. But a lot of what people are doing is like, they will say, from the proceeds, I'll donate X% to reforesting somewhere, or I'll pick up a couple of cans or something.
And what they're donating, that's physical cash, is it?
Yeah, it almost certainly will be. It wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be that they're donating cryptocurrency that then is just going to sort of propagate the same problem.
Let me stop you there. I doubt that.
Okay, that's good.
But even if they are, like, all of the analyses of the biggest people that have done that have said that it's essentially like, finding a house that's on fire and just sort of turning on a tap and then leaving. Like, it's just such a minimal.
Why don't we make a bunch of kind of videos and infographics about how bad it is, and then pop them on Nifty?
Fuck, that would be quite a meta nuft. So I think that could really go down.
We'll ask that philosophy guy how that went.
So yeah, that's our TAS deep dive into NFTs.
Well, it certainly was a shame. It certainly was a shame. Oh God.
Are accepting. Declan will link our Bitcoin wallet or our NFT wallet in the
You
show
should
notes.
put all of the show artworks on there. Like, why the fuck not?
Yeah, why not? If you're an outrageously rich idiot, then I'll sell you anything, honestly. Just hit me up. TAS@shame.city. But yeah, I think it's something we'll keep tabs on, because I can see it only getting weirder bore it inevitably collapses, or it uses
takes
so
over the
much
world.
Power that there is none left. Like, there are only NFTs is a potential. Like, you have
and then they have to be fungible.
Yeah, fuck. So yeah, that's the episode.
I can't wait to get on the bus and hand over CryptoPunk 3211 in order to get.
Very cool. Oh dear.
Sorry, mate. This will only get you as far as tooting.
Now we've got a bunch of far more, real world, grounded, and economical and environmental ways of getting in touch with the show. If you'd like to send us any leads, any NFTs, transfer them over to our Nifty from yours. You can do all of those things. Declan, why don't you talk us through some of your favourites?
Let's have a look. Well, one that I don't love, but that I also do quite like when it's for the show is email.
Oh yes.
Not a personal fan, but if this is a profession, then I professionally I enjoy it.
We call it NFT mail.
Just not in my actual job.
Fair.
So TAS, that's TAS, at shame.city if you've got anything to send that way. You can join the Discord over at shame.city/Discord.
Yeah, good for that.
You can also find us on Twitter at Shame City Gang.
Big.
In just a couple of minutes, we're going to be live on twitch.tv/Shame City.
I should say that's not going to be a couple of minutes from when you hear this, though, so don't get confused and sad if you...
No, a couple of minutes from when we've recorded.
In 2025.
Oh, we might not even...
Say you downloaded the NFT from your Apple NFT app. And
we could be dead by then.
Yeah, we've probably been killed by the basilisk, I guess.
Yeah.
But we won't be there necessarily.
No.
Give it a check, though. Where is that?
That's, as I said, twitch.tv/Shame City.
Yeah.
And that's because there's two Y's on the end, because we've managed to lock ourselves out of our own brand.
Just shame.city/Twitch. Nice and easy.
That's good. That'll be better. Patreon.com/Shame City. There's some good content that's gone on over there this week that portends even more content, which that's a big energy for us, because we're always on the lookout for that sort of self-fulfilling content.
And where's that?
That was patreon.com/Shame City.
Is that really expensive? Is that like $700,000?
So what it is, it's just the $5.
Okay.
You could buy 3 pixels of a crypto dude for that.
Good luck indeed.
It's $5, and what you get is you get bonus stuff every week, and you unlock all of the previous bonus content, of which there's an absolute smorgasbord of stuff there. There's video content, there's audio content, there's more audio content.
You get a private Discord channel where we post NFTs.
There's long audio content. There's short audio content. There's a video. Oh God,
it's crazy in there. Check it out. Check it out big time. Until next time, I've been Isaac. I've been
Declan.
CryptoPunks of tomorrow.
We're out, guys.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities. Oh, Mother Nature nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Necessities, the bare necessities, the bare necessities of life will come to you.